Hi guys, Andy N, spoken label. I'm knackered. I've had one of those days today. It's a Thursday night and it's gone wrong today in my life outside creativity, but it happens. Cheer me up, I've got a friend with me today. Now, I met this lady originally through Zoom a couple of months ago, and I'll let her give her details away in a minute, but we did a kind of preview podcast with her because she had a play on, I think, with the Peckham Fringe, if memory's correct, called Playfight. So Christina, obviously, you're back with us today to give us a full session, so I can ask you lots of hard-hitting and drilling questions.
Yeah,
So,
it.
obviously, people that might have heard your previous podcast.
Mm-hmm.
If they didn't, they should be ashamed of themselves. Obviously, tell us about yourself first of all this time. We're going to cover more ground this time, definitely.
Okay, yeah, so I'm Christina. Hi, everyone. I'm from London, and I'm a writer, playwright. I write writing a book as well, and now I'm a screenwriter, which we'll get into.
Yeah, now this is perks of it today because I kind of told Christina off my fault. I've had a rotten day and I was late home. I've not had a chance to do the research I would normally do. I did spot something online that caught my eye and I thought, oh, this looks interesting. But anyway, Christina, obviously, tell us about where all your creativity came from originally. We'll start that then, okay? Start that way.
So I've always loved writing, and I've always had, I think it's just the imagination. For as long as I can remember, I've always made up my own stories or my own versions of stories. So I would dress up as Snow White and all these Disney princesses. And for me, I didn't really need to be sort of, oh, it has to be look like this or look like me or that kind of thing. As far as I was concerned, it's pretend, it's fantasy. So I could embody a role and I could, play this character, but I would make up my own versions. If I didn't like something, I would then just do my own thing. So I think it was just that imagination that really got the ball rolling. And then as I got older, I liked to get it out, just to write it and get it all out there for me personally. And privately, I didn't really share it much with the world. That's quite scary. Until I started writing fan fiction, and that is something.
Okay. Dish to dirt then. What was your fan fiction on them?
My very first bits of fan fiction was probably it's a TV show still running at the moment in America. It's called Blue Bloods. It's got Tom Selleck in it. It's
I know. I've never seen it, but I do know what you mean. So Tom Selleck, yeah, definitely. Oh, brilliant.
He's so it was when it first came out, so just like going back like 10-11 years when I was first at uni. I don't know why I was really attached to the character, the family unit of the police drama, because it's something that police dramas are just being done, and this was something that was different. So I really liked the familial dynamic, and I kind of just toyed around with it and wrote my own stories and put them on fan fiction. And suddenly I used to get requests and people go, I love this, it's so great. And that kind of gave me a lot of confidence, because that was during summer of my first year at uni. And at uni, I studied writing. So I did English literature with creative writing. I did a joint degree. And with that, we were encouraged to read our work out loud. And I really didn't like that in the first year, because I think a lot of people did. A lot of people were just like, no, I don't want to share my work out. But I'm really grateful that we got pushed to do that, because now, obviously, being a playwright and sitting, watching literally everyone seeing your work and putting things out there, you just have to get used to that. So that kind of pushed me into that world of just opening up, sharing to my classmates, only my classmates. Okay, we're all in this together. Just work over it in class. I'm not going to share it to them. And then fan fiction was like sharing it to the world. And they didn't see my face. They didn't know who I was. It was all done in like kind of avatar thing, but my writing was real and they seemed to like that. And then I started branching out and writing Downton Abbey fan fiction, just anything I wanted, just one shot thing. But that really took off. And I had to repeat a module of my second year, 2 literature modules for second year, so I didn't get to graduate with all my other friends. I graduated a year later, which I actually, looking back, was really the best thing for me, because in that year I didn't have any creative writing classes, because it was all literature modules. And I thought, I really don't want to let my momentum slip. So I wrote fan fiction. I just wrote as much fan fiction to keep it going and to keep the audience just kind of kept on going, and I used to get feedback, so much positive
Brilliant.
stuff. It was a bit of an ego boost, which I kind of needed, because when you're having to repeat a year, your ego takes a bit of a hit anyway. You're really worried. Uni's a stressful time anyway, so it was a hobby to do on the side. But then I went to final year, and obviously the writing just took off, and then did my master's, which is where I fell into playwriting, which I wasn't intended to. But
brilliant. Now, obviously, people were wondering, that's brilliant. Like, you've led us naturally now. So obviously, where we touched base on a couple of months ago originally, when you had a play on at Peckham Fringe, didn't you? On, I nearly said girl fight then, but no, it is girl fight. Playfight. Stupid moment. Yeah, but Playfight. Now, obviously, tell us obviously about your experience at Peckham Fringe. So I know when we spoke a couple of months ago, you were quite, I think, excited but nervous about it as well, weren't you? As well, so.
Yeah, actually, just touching base on that, when we spoke about Peckham Fringe, I remember I kind of name dropped a lot of the cast, but the actor who played TJ, literally as soon as my episode aired, he had to pull out for personal reasons.
Oh no!
So we spent that week. It was really stressful for everyone, because we didn't have a TJ, and we were about, I think, 2 weeks till opening, I think.
Oh my God!
And we were really thinking what to do, and then we had someone else, they pulled out, and it was just one of those things. That's showbiz type attitude, but the production, the producers, Shrina, the director Lian, and all the rest of the cast, Josh and Susie, we all pulled together and tried to support each other through it. But we found a TJ. His name's Eddie, and I came into rehearsals, and he was there, and he just learned everything so quickly. And on the opening, it was the day before my birthday, and we were all just sat there, and he just went on there without the script, first time, and he just did it, and he was so good, and it was just like a relief. But I didn't have any doubts. I knew he could do it, because he was in rehearsals, he was just very, very professional.
Yeah, I think you find sometimes with that, and I've known this happen to people before in other plays that have happened, where something goes wrong, like I said, when you've got a couple to get somebody in, and if they're good enough, they will just like that, won't they?
Yeah.
And I know it'd been me, and it took me 6 months to learn that block of text like that, because I've got really bad memory nowadays. But no, brilliant with them. So now, was it a really good reaction by the audience, was it?
Yeah, I noticed that all audiences are different, and we opened in Deptford, and this is Peckham, and it's all South London, but they're different postcodes, and it's a thing. So, but it was during the bank holiday weekend, so everyone was sort of hyped up with Viva anyway, but for them to come and see this play, which isn't very it's quite hard hitting, but they had a great response to it, from what I can tell. And we got some really good reviews as well.
Brilliant. No,
I found it really uplifting with that, because one of them said that I nailed the South London vernacular, which I spent a lot of time learning to write this.
Oh, that makes life so much easier when you get told that. Oh, well done.
Yeah, it was, because this is something that's quite different to stuff that I normally write, in terms of just the way that they talk, because it's a different world. But in order to write it, I had to absorb myself into that world. And write it. So, yeah.
No, well done on that one, so I'm glad it went well for you, because like I said, people wondering if I spoke later, I was like, with us living 200 miles away, there's no way I was going to get down to watch it. It was, I was thinking of you that weekend, thinking, I hope it goes well for you. When we catch up a month's time, you tell me about it then. So,
well, when I actually first met Eddie, he said, "Oh yeah, I looked you up on YouTube, and I saw your podcast. You were talking to a gentleman on Zoom, and it was the podcast."
Oh, was this one?
Yeah, that's an interesting like connection. When he hadn't seen me in person, and it was I kind of turn up to rehearsals just to see how things are going. And
well, it shows you that everyone's watching this podcast. So I am with Christina's permission. I'm going to release a video version to YouTube anyway. It shows you podcasts do get round.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. I'm blushing now, and I'm in black and white. I'm blushing. Anyway, okay. Now, to show you how well I've structured this today, I don't actually know now. I know Christina's got news for us, obviously, beyond the play. So, Christina, I know you've gone to TV script writing since, haven't you? And
And
there's
short film,
something
yeah.
gone on. There's something gone on in New York. So give us the news.
Well, over the summer, I turned a play of mine into a short film script, and I sent it in to some festivals, and it won in New York and in Rome and in short and in Florence as well, and been selected and finalisted in Paris, and I got to go to the Paris Arts and Movie
Wow.
Awards, walk a red carpet literally just a month ago, which was
Oh,
insane.
God, well done.
Thank you. So it was the ones in New York, they were New York International Film Awards, and I won Best Short Script and Best First Time Screenwriter. And then I got 2 Skyline trophies with that. If you go on my Instagram, you'll see all of that.
Oh yeah, you can definitely see that. Oh, they look mega. They do completely. Well done.
And then there's other awards called the Honoros Awards, which are also based in New York, and I won in the same categories for those as well. So I won twice in both of them, and just to win one is incredible. But yeah, to win 2 and get 2 trophies. I honestly, I pick them up every day. My mum gets really wound up with that, so I pick them up, I hold them just to remind myself that it's real, which I think it's just every writer's dream.
Oh, fantastic. Now, obviously, there's 2 ways we can go about this, obviously, but I want to know people. I think it's best here we tell people what this actual play or now screenplay is about, first of all.
Okay, good. I love talking about it. It's called Face to Face, and I can't remember if I mentioned this in the last podcast or not, but I'll just tell the story again.
Saying shit for brains. Tell us again, anyway, right?
So this was a stage play, and originally I wrote it as a small scene, which is now I've kind of gone back to. It was an idea I had about a woman who meets her father's killer in prison before he's about to be released. So it was meant to be a 20-minute scene, just the 2 of them face to face. And I wrote this about 6 years ago, just me in my room, and I sent it off to Scratch Nights, and it wasn't getting anywhere until one night. Someone picked this company called the Hidden Theatre. They were having a scratch night, and I was one of 4 selected. So they had an event at this pub theatre. It was a theatre in the back of the pub called the Water Rats in King's Cross, which is great. I mean, if you're a Londoner, you'll know all about pub theatres, or anywhere in the UK. I'm sure they have like pub theatres thing. And then the director from that really enjoyed it, and the feedback I got from that was so positive. They loved it. They thought it was really gripping, and that for me was so good. It was quite nerve-wracking standing up. I had to stand up on stage, and they were just like talking to me. But they said that they wanted it to be longer. So I'm thinking, okay, interesting. How can I expand this? So the director of that, Rachel, she was working with a company, and she said, yeah, if you want to expand it, we can put this on, and that was called Hidden Views Theatre. And I basically wrote this 2-hander, just the 2 of them, and it was on at the Brighton Fringe Festival. It closed the Brighton Fringe Festival and then opened the Camden Fringe Festival in 2018. But for some reason, I don't know, I just kind of felt that it wasn't. Oh yeah, and we performed at a law firm as well, Linklater's law firm. That was crazy. I don't know. Yeah, creatively, I kind of just felt like it could be done a bit somewhere else. And a friend of mine who's also a director said, we can expand the cast and we can do so much things. So then I worked with him for a few years, and nothing. We had a rehearsed reading, stage reading, but nothing really came of it. And I kind of thought, well, it's been 4 years now. And I know the pandemic kind of put a kibosh in it, but I kind of just thought, well, I want to see this. I want to see it because I don't want to just leave it. This has been going on for so much time. But then I kind of thought, I want to dabble in film. So then I kind of wrote the first scene, just the first scene with the 2 of them in prison, and I sent it off to another scratch night called Scriptwriters and Co. And I actually know them. They're based in Bath, and I was a finalist in their festival for another play I wrote, The Beach House, which was again earlier on in the year. So I knew them. So I I submitted to their scratch night, and they had a theme for that one in the summer. It was called, or spring scratch night, and it was called games or competition. That was it, competition. So I kind of thought, well, face to face is kind of a competition, because it's a competition between two people trying to figure out whose life is worse because of what happened. And I just sent it in, and then I got finalisted. Basically, I got sent into the scratch night. They showed
I bow to you, well done.
it was done online, so it was all of the people, we all did it online, and they had actors read them out, and the feedback from that was so good. It was so positive, and I kind of thought, okay, well, something is right with this. It's not completely, even though nothing's happened in 4 years, something is, I kind of got more confidence now. And then, to my big surprise, they had a best of script, they would announce the best in the scratch night, and they awarded it to me. And I was so shocked at that, because there were so many other amazing scripts at that scratch night that I thought they were so much better than mine. They were. And the prize I got for that was a copy of Final Draft. So any writer knows Final Draft is the software to use.
Oh yeah.
Script, right?
Well done.
So when I went to I went on a family holiday to Cornwall, and I kind of just thought, I'm going to give this a go. So I wrote it on that, using that software that I won. The reason why I told the story about that scratch night is because I used that software that I won for that script.
Brilliant, well done.
Write a short script, and then ended up thinking, okay, let me just see. I want to test it internationally. And yeah, this summer it's just kind of taken off, and it's won some awards in London as well.
Oh, absolutely, well done. I'm so made up for you, Christina. Now, obviously, I've studied basic playwriting and script writing myself, mostly at uni, and I may do my own, but got a half of my own play done another day. But I know the difference between the way those scripts are quite formatted and set out. So and obviously I don't want to go too technical, but how did you find transferring it from a play into a TV film script for yourself?
I found it really easy, because I kind of just, for me, theatre, when I visualize it, it's a theatre, and you can get so much more just talking. But here I was able to explore what I wanted people to see, and I tweaked the story slightly. So she doesn't go to see him in prison. She actually goes to see him before he's dying, and he's at home in his room.
Ooh,
so it just takes place in one bedroom.
Yeah, that is quite definitely took a different angle on that one straight away. Yeah, because what I know of TV script and playwright, people know this. I love when I go into the theatre. I love watching actors that aren't speaking and see how they're reacting and stuff. In TV script or films like you've done, you're channeling exactly what people can see.
Yeah,
and you can take it a very different way sometimes, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to explore as well, especially with this script, because I feel this script there's just so much to get out. It's just two people having a conversation, and this is the thing. I think that you can really see the playwriting background in it, because not really much. It doesn't scene jump at all. It literally stays in one room.
Does it? Oh, that's interesting. Straight away, because like you do say, the art in TV and films is the cut from scene to scene, and it's quite the movement's pretty fast in it normally. Because like say for a 2-hour film, you'd end up with what 150 cuts, wouldn't you? Yeah. And obviously yours is obviously like you've kept it quite static, and that's quite interesting actually. That
I kind of also felt some of the feedback I got was she wouldn't see him in prison alone. There would be someone there, and it was easy to brush that off in a theatre play, because you can plead artistic license and say, okay,
of course.
Imagine the police was there, or all that kind of stuff. Or in my original version, I had the audience kind of being behind the plexiglass, and they sort of break the fourth wall and look, but you can't do that in film. Or even you can, but it's not the same. And you can't ignore them. You can't ignore the glaring obvious fact of there are going to be guards there if you set it in a prison. So then I took it out of there and put it in his room, and it also makes it more sense why she'd go to see him, and the stakes are higher, and why he wants to see her as well. So I experimented with it, and in just this one scene, hopefully it works. Yeah.
Well, fingers crossed, definitely. Now, obviously, what's happening next with this then? Obviously, after all these awards and stuff, and your franticness in the summer, because you've covered 3 different countries and various awards ceremonies, and haven't you? So what's going on next? What's going on next with it
then? Well, the end goal is to get it made and see it, and then see how it does as a film. Yeah,
cool.
I've got I'm in talks with someone, so I really hope that it goes to plan, and I'll make it happen. If it doesn't, I'll pursue it, because I'm coming full fired up, especially after the summer. It's like you can't not do anything with it now. It's like the pressure's on. So
you can feel your enthusiasm with it straight away. And what I know of you, Christina, as a person, you're that sort of person. You're very single-minded. I say it straight away, like all the other saying, like a dog with a bone. If you give you half a sniff of the bone, you'll keep pulling at it till you get what you want. No, brilliant, good luck. Keep us informed. There you go. Definitely. So it'd be great to have a film director on here. Definitely straight after the film comes out with that one. So obviously, to start wrapping up this part of it now, so I want to always read a monologue. Might be a monologue at the second half. I know your podcast has been a bit quieter recently as well. And obviously, I know you're hoping to get that back and going again soon, aren't you, as well?
Yeah, for sure. I think I also want to do more independent episodes. I started off in lockdown, so it was just easier for me to keep a track on it, obviously, because we weren't doing anything. And I enjoyed doing the research of stories like fairy tales and urban legends and history. And then it would just be me telling the story, and I really enjoyed that. But then it took off a lot, and I was getting a lot of interview requests, so it was that. And then I can't even remember the last single episode I did. So I want to kind of get back to that. I have loads planned, and I didn't end up doing it. But yeah, hopefully I can get back.
Well, fingers crossed. I think you always find that when you've had the summer you've had there, it's like your mind's can't focus on that sort of thing like that. My head would be like this, exploding after all that. So I can imagine it'd be an absolute nightmare. Definitely. Do you have any ideas what writing wise you're going to do next time to wrap up with? Any ideas? What's else you're working on?
So obviously it just kind of the screen. I tested the screen thing, and it seems to be going quite well. So I'm sort of dropping theatre completely. I am still working in that, but it's kind of like moving a little bit away from that and just seeing what else is out there in film and TV, and writing a book as well. So. And a novella. So
fingers crossed. Any hints about the novel or novella you want to give?
Yes, the novella is actually called Dear Datchet, and it's a period drama, and it's actually told through letters between a young woman whose father dies, and then the title and estate goes to someone else, and she starts off by writing a letter and refuses to call him by his name, so you don't actually know his name. The title is Datchet, the Earl of Datchet, and so
cool.
She starts that off, and it turns into a thing between them. And as she becomes more humble, he comes from humble origins, starts to get a bit more corrupt, and you can kind of tell it. I want to tell the story through letters.
Well, that's an interesting experiment straight away. That'll be a good challenge. That definitely good luck with it. So keep us informed. So right, okay. We better wrap up this part, Christina. Now I know you're on all social medias, so I'll let you tell people where they can find you.
So my Twitter is @ChrissyA_92, and my Instagram is xchristina.writer.
Brilliant. So you've also got your own website as well, haven't you?
Yes, it's chrissysnotebook.com. I'm going to update it because it needs updating, because it's been an explosive summer. So.
Oh, completely. It's always good for me to do a sort of podcast, definitely. I always find this, you go to speak to someone, Christina's completely left me amazed, and I'm dead happy for her as well with this. So that's why when you find it as well, it can just goes crazy, doesn't it? Sometimes you least expect it. So, but good luck with it, definitely. So keep us informed. If the film gets made, invite us to the premiere. We'll be down there.
I will. And cover it. Special coverage on the red carpet.
Oh yeah, podcast covering. You did get me on the carpet. I know what happens straight away. I'll trip up and take out Brad Pitt probably in my look. Who's in the starring role in your film. But anyway, good luck with it and keep us informed. So right, we'll take a quick break now, and we'll get Christina's reading bit of a monologue for us in the second half. See you all in 2 shakes of the dice.